Ladies and gentlemen, American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Netanyahu says no to any ceasefire. You know what? A ceasefire is like a temporary surrender. The only reason for a ceasefire is to help the other side. Makes no sense, especially when you're kicking their ass. Israel recently screened for New York journalists the video footage of what happened on October 7th. Powerful stuff. Warren Buffett is trading in stocks that Berkshire Hathaway is trading and selling in. He says that would be a conflict, but he's doing it anyway. Many of you think Warren Buffett's this likable old sage money guy. I think he's an ass. All right, Jillian Ludwig, Nashville victim. Can you imagine walking in a park and getting shot and killed by a stray bullet? That's what happened to this pretty young girl. It's insanity. Election offices from around the country were sent fentanyl in envelopes. Scary stuff. Manchin's retiring. He is not going to seek re-election as the United States. Why? Because he knows he was going to lose. The Republicans will pick up this seat. Brad Winstrup, Republican from Ohio, is also retiring. Robert Bigelow and Bernie Marcus. Bernie Marcus is the 94-year-old co-founder of Home Depot. These two guys have endorsed Trump. Bigelow used to be for DeSantis. Andy Amor, one of the assistant prosecutors, the lawyer for Trump, says he ought to go work for Putin. The judge said he should apologize. DeSantis is under fire for allegedly allowing a Chinese drone firm to be near a military base. I got to ask you a question. Why would we have a Chinese military firm anywhere in our country? It's insanity. Swing states. It's big. 3 out of 5 like Trump's position on China, tariffs. China's a big issue in those swing states. This is great news. A drug called Tagrisso is cutting lung cancer deaths in half. You have to have the genetic makeup for it, but very hopeful. Republicans, remember they were going to cut the IRS? Nah, they gave them more money. Taking Care of Maya. Did you watch this on Netflix? This is terrible when child support services from a hospital kind of try to ruin somebody's life. Well, the young girl won $220 million. We got a case just like that against Dayton Cincinnati Children's. De Niro assistant won $1.2 million from his company, not him, for gender discrimination. Marilyn Mosby, remember this hot shot Black Lives Matter prosecutor from Baltimore, found guilty for fraud, mortgage fraud. 2 DEA agents were found guilty. Bribery. Trump is allowed to have his experts, said the judge. Good for them. News Nation's going to be the next sponsor of the next Republican debate, and Megyn Kelly is going to be the moderator. Energy Secretary Granholm gave access to China to some of our sensitive nuclear missile sites. I swear it's in Nevada. It's just all insanity. There are dumb people and evil people running our country and our states. It's the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show, local news. Let's get right with it. Greg Beck was indicted for banging on cars, walking down Scott Street, firing his guns, blah, blah, blah. Bad, bad, bad. I'm sure some mental health issues there. Alto Miles murdered 4 people. They ordered another competency test. I don't know why it's necessary. Whoever ruled him being competent? Man shot in his car, Western Viaduct, and you say drive-by shooting while somebody's driving, shot, wrecked his car. Gang wars, shots at Jefferson Hall, at the banks, 2 a.m., Thursday. Nothing good happens after midnight, folks. Out. Jason Voss of Batavia indicted 15 counts for child porn. Chase. Pike County, Kentucky. They found a dead body. It looks suspicious. Kentucky State Police are investigating. 10 kilos of cocaine were found with a man in Fairfield. 10 kilos. They said it came straight from Mexico. All right, local news. There's a flasher in Eden Park. Some joggers have reported. He's been doing it for months. Have you ever been a flasher, Jamie? I don't understand the idea of flashing. I just don't get it. All right. A substitute teacher is under investigation for yelling at an 8th grader. My first response is, what the hell did the little shit do? You know what I mean? All right, in Kentucky news, deer season, firing tomorrow. Stay inside, protect yourself. Bashir, state of emergency has been declared down in Harlan County where the fires are taking place. And in Ohio, Michael DeWine says we got to have some regulations on pot. So we'll see what they come up with. Hamilton County, National Adoption Day Thursday. They had a ceremony, special celebration. Really neat. Everybody's adopting a child. And then Brad Winstrup, Ohio's own, is retiring from Congress. He's probably had enough of that crap. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.
Hello again. It's Friday the 10th of November. Today's latest headlines. The owners of a Colorado funeral home are accused of giving fake cremated remains to some families, among other allegations. Jan and Kerry Alford were arrested by authorities in Oklahoma. Authorities found 190 sets of decaying remains last month in the couple's funeral home in Penrose, some dating back to 2019. They are facing charges of abuse of a corpse, theft, money laundering, and forgery. The authorities in Ghana have launched a manhunt for the people who cut down a famous 300-old kola tree, which was believed to have healing powers. The tree dates back to the Ashanti Kingdom, part of modern-day Ghana. Local people say the tree grew in a spot where renowned priest Kamfo Anachi spat a kola nut on the ground in the early 1700s. Many local people believe that the black and white seed of the kola tree could cure ailments and curses. A 15-year-old German student has been shot dead at a special education school in the southwestern town of Offenburg. The suspected shooter was another 15-year-old student at the school who was detained during a large-scale police operation. He was remanded in custody on suspicion of manslaughter. And Australia has offered refuge to citizens of Trevula because of the catastrophic impact of climate change in the landmark new park. Trevula, a series of low-lying lands in the Pacific, is amongst the nations most at risk from rising oceans. It is the home of 11,200 people and has repeatedly called for greater action to combat climate change. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese described it as a groundbreaking agreement. From the team and I, have a fantastic weekend. Cheerio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to Sports Without Boundaries, where we have fun with sports. We're not politically correct. We can say what they can't say on ESPN and your local sports channels. All right, the Bears beat the Panthers 16-13, a game of 2-7 and 1-7. What these ratings were. I did not watch the game. And just to let you know, I like Bryce Young. Bryce Young just needs a better team around him. He's a winner. But, boy, his post-game conference was awful. He was jabbering around, blah, blah, blah. Got to do better. But what an awful two teams. All right, Louisville 31, Virginia 24. Running back for Virginia was carted off late in the third quarter with a bad hit. This was at Louisville. It was crazy. In a matter of 3 minutes, Virginia scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter and took the lead 21-14. Pick six, scoop and score. Crazy. But Louisville, the better team, came back and won 31-24, keeping their hopes alive. You know, they play Florida State, beat them. Who knows what happens? All right, Bedard is the youngest guy in Blackhawks history and the fourth youngest in NHL history, 18 years old and 115 days, to score 4 points, 2 assists, 2 goals. And his mom was there. By the way, you watch. She'll be the latest sensation because Bedard's mom is beautiful. And she's surrounded by a bunch of other moms that were cheering. I'm sure she's viral by now. Right. Everybody wanting to date Connor Bedard's mom. I'm assuming that she's still married. This is a great story. You do know about the Billie Jean King challenge, about the man, males and whatnot. And, the men are really stronger. And we recently had, who was it, said that he wanted to play the.
Travis.
Yeah. Blake Travis said a high school team could beat a WNBA team. Yep. That's right. So Clay Travis said that. Well, you can't make this up. Carly Lloyd admitted the year that they won the whole shebang that a 15-year-old German boys soccer team beat them.
Yep.
15-year-olds. Now, by the way, why am I saying it? Folks, there's a difference between the sexes.
Yep.
You women have skills and talents that I wish I had. You're stronger in a lot of different ways. But folks, come on, man. I bet you that high school team could be, but isn't that wild? A 15-year-old boy, I bet you they love it.
Yeah.
I mean, they got pictures of that. All right, Jamar Chase says he's quote-unquote okay, which means he's going to play against the Texans. T. Higgins is out, hamstring pull. Jeannie Buss has made it very clear. Now, when this went on, and I heard that she dated Dennis Rodman back in the day, I was like, what? I wonder what Phil Jackson thought about that. Well, it turns out Jeannie Buss did not date Dennis Rodman. She actually kept an eye on him by going with him where he went. Isn't that hysterical? I feel better about Jeannie Buss now. Paige Van Zandt fought in the UFC for 6 years. You ready for this, Jamie Spendley? In 1 month, she made more money as OnlyFans than her entire 6 years as a UFC fighter. Why do men pay to just view a chick? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Might do OnlyFans.
Hey, with your British accent, why don't you do an OnlyFans with just your voice? All right, because they may not want to look at you. Aha! Saban is defending Ole Miss. Kiffin. They filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. This guy filed a lawsuit against him for $40 million, saying he was mentally impaired and everything else. There's an audio that he recorded of Kiffin saying, I don't care about your mental, we'll kick you off the team. Yeah. Oh, funny. All right, Nick Saban is defending Dabo Swinney. You got to like the coaches defending each other. He could kick Dabo when he's down. I bet you Dabo really appreciates that. James Madison, this was wild, folks. Double overtime, they beat Kent State 113-108. Here's what happens. At the end of regulation, they're down like 3 points. 5 points. They make a three, and then there's 1 second left. When they inbounds, Kent State charges before the inbounds pass takes place. So James Madison gets the ball with 1 second, scores, and sends it into overtime. I mean, that was the wildest thing. How do you come back from 5 points with 3 seconds left?
Yeah, 5 points in 3 seconds.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
Insanity. That'll never happen again. High school football games are all over the place. Enjoy them. We'll report on them on Monday. NFL, the big games for you that you're going to care about. Texans at the Bengals. Browns are playing the Ravens. Finally, one of them are going to freaking lose. And the Giants are at the Cowboys. NCAA football, the big games. Michigan at Penn State. Bama at UK. UC at Houston. Miami at Florida State. Utah at Washington. Ole Miss at Georgia. That's going to be a good one. And Michigan at Ohio State. USC at Oregon. NCAA basketball tonight. UK plays Texas A&M Commonwealth. I think they might win. UC over the weekend plays Detroit Mercy and Eastern Washington, and Xavier plays Jacksonville. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great weekend of sports. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, we have pop culture today. Taylor Swift. These people camped out 5 months in order to be in the front row. Her Eras Tour has begun in Argentina. 70,000 people were overcome with joy. No signing of Kelsey. Jared Leto. They're making a big deal about this. He climbed the Empire State Building. Now, by the way, going from the 88th floor to the top, I guess, is an accomplishment. But that's what he did. He did not climb from the ground to the top of the Empire State Building. So how is that considered a climbing, Jamie, Josh, Sabrina? How can that be? That's a half-ass climbing.
He got harness on too.
Of course, I wouldn't have done it anyway, with a harness or not. All right, Kevin Costner is not going to be in part 2 of the upcoming. They're going to start producing it in January. There's not going to be it. You know what? Kevin Costner's the glue in this thing. He needs to be in it. Vanessa Mancini, a Brazilian influencer, 41 years old, drops dead putting up Christmas ornaments. I wonder if she got vaxxed. What do you think? This is funny. Sarah Cheek was a Playboy playmate. Her son, young son, is playing in a Florida ice skating hockey rink. Gets bashed against the boards. Some other parents are cheering about it. They're glad she got bashed. She speaks up, all hell breaks loose. She and her son have now been banned from the rink. And she claims it's because she's a Playboy playmate. Must be a Christian religious. They must host like religious services on Sundays at that rink or something. Why would you kick her out? All right, De Niro's assistant got $1.2 million from the jury against his company, Canal Productions. He personally was not held responsible, but gender discrimination, she wins $1.2 million. That's what you get for a back scratch. All right, an eye transplant, the very first. This guy, and apparently it seems to be hopeful. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to all become bionic one day. And Paige Van Zandt, I already covered this in sports, but I got to cover it in pop culture. This woman right here, 6 years, UFC fighter. In 1 month, she made more at OnlyFans. I could see why. Sabrina, would Wes let you do an OnlyFans page? You could say, Bulldog producer, your husband was a minister. That would be hot. Your husband was a minister, so minister's wife. Sabrina, have you ever considered an OnlyFans page?
No.
She's a good Christian, Josh Wentz. I'm sure Wes is happy. Or do you have a secret OnlyFans page? She's not speaking. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Good luck with your OnlyFans pages.